$200 million payment to Iran was contingent upon the release of American hostages. To Lieutenant Colonel Alan West. Okay, Colonel, let's go through this for a second. The money was loaded on the plane. The plane could not take off to get to Tehran until they knew that the hostages were on the plane in Tehran and had taken off and were leaving in Iran. As soon as that signal was made, the money was transferred, the hostages were released. Very difficult to say that's not ransom.
It's very difficult to say that unless you are the Obama administration, and it depends on what is. But we know that Pastor Saeed Abedini, who asked his captors, what were they waiting on? They told him the release of another aircraft. We know that there were not two separate diplomatic channels, which is what the Obama administration had told us. And we know that, Stuart, why are we talking about a 1979 agreement with the Shah of Iran, who was deposed? We owe nothing to this current Islamist regime that overthrew the Shah, that took our hostages, that 1983 we had the Beirut barracks bombing. We continue to have the Iranians support the explosive force penetrators that has horrific ramifications on our men and women that were deployed in Iraq and Afghanistan. So we owe them nothing. And so for the President of the United States of America to choose this moment to send this money back to them, it just shows, once again, it's tied to the release of those hostages. And Iran still holds, I believe, 2 or maybe 3 Americans hostage illegally.
Alan, I have to tell you that this hour, the State Department has responded to this. It was a Wall Street Journal story, and they basically admitted that the journal story is correct. But my question to you now, Alan, is where does this leave the Iran nuke deal? There have been provocation after provocation. This is a ransom payment, almost admitted by the State Department. Now what about the nuke deal?
Well, the President of the United States is hanging his hat on this being his greatest foreign policy success. But the Ayatollahs in Iran definitely have been violating this. We've seen belligerent action after belligerent action. The fact that Russian aircraft are taking off from Iranian bases, conducting bombing missions. They are supporting the Quds Force and Hezbollah in Syria. We know that they're looking to buy new T-80 tanks and also fighter aircraft from the Russians. There is no agreement with Iran. This was just smoke and mirrors. So now what do we do moving forward? What does the Congress do? We don't need more hearings. I think it comes down to the American people. Are we going to continue to accept this type of non-transparency, this type of deceit coming from a presidential administration? And so the decision has to be made in the ballot box in November.
Alan West, thank you very much for being with us. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Stuart.